Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Bobbi Perryman is the director of the Warner Library, our guest in studio this morning. Good morning, Bobbi. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for making time for us as always. And I know that you and I are going to talk, and it's kind of funny, the conversation we're going to have today is pretty fitting because I've had a lot of conversation with like development council people about tax abatement for a big manufacturer coming to town, and they're going to all the taxing bodies. And in my mind, I was thinking they may approach the library because you're a taxing body.
We are.
We're going to dive into some of the I get you said you called it intricacies of governance. Yes. Talk about that with us.
So, the way that libraries work in Illinois is, for public libraries, there are basically two types. There's a municipal library and a library district. So, a municipal library is run by a municipality. It could be a city, a village, or a township, and there are slight differences between those three that I'm not going to get into because, frankly, I don't always understand all of them. But basically, we used to be a city library. The very first public library in Clinton was founded in 1901. It was the Free Clinton Library. It was paid for by the city, so the city collected taxes and budgeted for a library, and we were located at the McGill Hotel up on the square.
Really?
So, like, 2 rooms in the hotel were the library.
I never knew that.
Yes.
That's cool.
So it's kind of interesting. And from 1901 to 1908, that's where the library was. It also briefly was above a meat market on the square, but it kind of was homeless for a little bit until Vespasian Warner made his very generous donation to the city of $25,000 in 1901 or 1904 money, and a plot of land because he owned all of the land where the library is now and where his house, so that big brown brick house across the street from the old Save Lot, that was Vespasian Warner's house. He owned all of that land. He donated that to the city for an actual library building. So the Vespasian Warner Library opened in 1908 in our old building, which we still have, which faces out on West Johnson Street. And again, we were still a city library. So what that meant is we had a 9-person board of trustees that oversaw the library, and they were appointed by the mayor. And in municipal libraries, that's how it works. The mayor or the village board or the township board, whoever's in charge, will appoint the board of trustees. And it's a line item in the city's budget, so the city will pay for the library building and the utilities and legal fees and health insurance and all of that. And the library only serves that municipality. So like Decatur Public Library just serves the city of Decatur. So if you live in Forsyth, you would use the Forsyth Library, which just serves the village of Forsyth. And we ran like that for a long time until 1989 when the library board was able to pass a referendum. So the voters of the city of Clinton voted to dissolve the city library and form a public library district.
Okay.
So a district is its own unit of local government. So as a library district, we serve more than just the city of Clinton. The voters of Lane and DeWitt, and then later Wapella, voted to join our library district. So we serve all of that area. Our board of trustees is 7 people, and they are elected by the people who live in the district.
Oh, okay.
And we take care of our own stuff. So we own our own library building. We own some farm ground that someone left to us that we have to pay property tax on.
Okay.
We pay our utility bills. We pay for our snow removal. We do all of that because we're our own district. So we are not connected to the city. We are not connected to the county. We're kind of like a school district. We're our own thing.
Yeah.
So it does work a little bit differently than people think. And we do levy our own taxes. So we're not a line item in any municipality's budget. So every November, our board passes a levy that the county collects on our behalf. But it is our money, not the county's money.
Okay.
And our district is basically the Clinton School District with the exception of Tunbridge Township.
So when it comes to the library district, why couldn't you encompass the whole county then, if that makes sense?
Theoretically, we could. There are actually 4 public libraries in DeWitt County. There's us. Waynesville has a village library. Farmer City is a city library, and then Weldon is also a library district. So,
I didn't know Weldon had a library.
Yep, Weldon Library District. So they serve Weldon and then surrounding areas, but not DeLand. They're part of Goose Creek, and that's the whole thing. But we have a map of all of the public library districts in the state, and it's kind of wild how they work.
It's kind of like a legislative map.
Basically, like we have people that are in our district but have a Maroa address or have a Hayworth address, which always kind of throws our CERC staff for a loop when you sign up to get a card. So that's why we have that map. State law, so this is not our policy, but state law tells where people can get cards, and you can only get a card where you pay property taxes.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
since Tunbridge Township is not part of our district, if you live in Kinney and you want to get a card, you have to pay a non-resident fee, which we calculate. We use our same multiplier for people who live in district as out. So you would pay whatever you would pay if you lived in our district in order to get a card.
If someone is listening and they're in like the rural part of DeWitt County or Clinton or whatever, how do they know where their library district is at?
So you can always give us a call or come in and see us, and we'll be happy to show you. But if you have your voter's registration card, it will be on there. Or if you see your property tax bill, it will actually show you. So
okay.
So if you lived closer to Weldon than you live to Clinton, chances are good you're in the Weldon Library District. And state law also dictates where you can go to get a card if you're a non-resident.
Okay.
It's wherever you live closest to.
Got it.
So we've had patrons who are kind of partway between Farmer City and Clinton, but they actually live closer to our district boundary than they live to Farmer City. So they would get a card here.
Gotcha.
So it just kind of... And again, this isn't our rule. This is from the state.
I see. So what prompted this conversation then today?
So we've had a lot of people don't know how it works, and that's fair. I mean, it's kind of
confusing.
It's kind of confusing. Esoteric.
You don't think about it a lot, I'm sure. So.
No, because we're just used to it. But I noticed we have a mayoral candidate reach out to us about something else and said, well, as mayor, they're in charge of the library. Well, no, they're not. It does say so in like the city codes, but that is a holdover from when we were a city library. And I've had people who live in more rural parts, unserved parts of DeWitt County come in to try to get cards and not understand why they can't. Well, you're not in our district since it's not connected to the county.
I see. I know that city code book is something they're looking at right now. So
yeah, it is.
So I guess when there's, and maybe this isn't a fair question, I don't know, when there's that overlap of like city code, but then like you're like since that time you've become your own district, like how does that overlap work then?
Well, really the city doesn't really have anything to do with us unless we're doing like if we want to make some changes to our sidewalk next year, the city owns half of it. So we'll work with the city on that. But beyond that, they pretty much leave us alone, which we have a great relationship with the city, but we do our own thing, so to speak. When
it comes to the levy side of the library, how often are you looking at that? You know, obviously, you with being a taxing body, you probably want to be responsible with taxpayer money. Can you speak to that a little further? Of course.
So every year, our Board of Trustees will set our budget for the year, and that's based on what we've spent in previous years. And we are always looking for ways to save on costs. And then looking at our budget, they will set the levy. And to give an example, for my property tax for my home, because I pay taxes too, I paid about last year between $4,000 and $5,000 in property tax. 136 of that was for the library.
Okay.
So it's not a big chunk because we try very hard to keep within our means and be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And we are subject to all of the government laws that affect all local governments, so our books are completely open.
Okay.
Anyone is welcome to come in and see how we're spending our money. And every year, an outside accounting firm does an audit. In fact, we're in the middle of that process right now.
Gotcha.
Just to make sure that we are spending our funds the way we should be and maximizing what we are able to spend for patrons.
How often do you have elections for your board?
So we have terms are 4 years, but they're staggered. So about every 2 years, portions of our board are up for election. In fact, there are going to be some up for election this April. And our board meetings, again, we're subjected to the Open Meetings Act. But even if we weren't, our board meetings are still open. So any member of the public can attend. And we do have space at the beginning of each meeting for public comment. But we do everything above board, even paying our bills. I can't just write a check to pay a bill. The bills are processed by our business manager. I approve them. They go to our accountant who cuts the check, and then we have 2 board members who review and sign them all. So we go through all of these layers to make sure everything is completely above board.
Okay. And is like getting on the library board like any other, like, running for mayor or city
Basically,
council?
yeah.
You take out petitions and all that
Yep,
stuff.
yep. They have to do the same thing. They do the having to get 50 signatures
Okay.
and all of that to appear on the ballot.
Gotcha. I never knew that about the library, that your board was elected.
Yes,
so
they are. Yep. Every library district in the state that has an elected board. So even though we don't answer to like the city or the county, we answer to the people.
taxpayer, yeah.
We answer to our people, and we answer to the state library and the state of Illinois, because
Gotcha.
we do have to every year do a certification with the state that shows we're actually doing everything we're supposed to be doing. We file our financial statement every year that shows how we've spent the money, and we also file an annual report that shows how our services are being used.
Sure. Well, I'm not trying to like make light of the conversation, but I feel like I just sat through chemistry class, and at the
Yes.
end, my teacher would be like, "Clear as mud," and then the bell would ring, and we'd be out the door. But no, in all seriousness, Bobbi, how do folks learn more about this? What can they sit down with you or someone at the library and talk about it?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to anybody who comes in. Even though a library card is restricted to people who live in our district, anyone who walks in can use our library, and I am happy to show them that map. I think it's a really cool interactive online map, so you can click on each library district. It'll show you how many people live in there and the demographic breakdown, and shows you exactly where the boundaries are.
Okay.
I know we get a lot of questions about Tunbridge Township and why our district does not include Tunbridge, because the people who live in that district voted not to, which is fine. That's completely their choice, because their property taxes would go up if they're part of our district. So that's why they are not. But patrons from Tunbridge are welcome to purchase a card. The cost varies considerably. I've seen as little as $30 for the year. I've seen as much as $300 for the year.
Whoa.
It just really depends on your residence.
Oh.
Because again, it's the same multiplier that we use for people who live in our district is out. So if you have an extremely expensive house, that's what it would be. If you are a renter, it would be just a portion of, it's like 10% of what your monthly rent is for the year.
Yeah, so that leads me to the question, and this may open up a whole nother can of worms. Can you buy a library card, like even if you're out of district?
Yes. Yep. Yep, you can. That's our we call it non-resident.
Yeah, okay.
So yep, you buy a card for the year for your whole household.
Okay.
So that I think it averages about $150. So if you pay that $150, you and your entire household get full library privileges for the year, and it just renews every July.
Got it. So I guess like my mind is thinking like someone is maybe working in Clinton, but they don't live here. You know what I mean? Like that's how that works then?
Yep. Because
no matter where the residency is.
It all depends on where you live.
Holy cow.
So yep. And again, that's state law.
Got it.
That we deal with. We would love to serve everybody.
Right, sure.
But we do have to pay for everything, so
Yeah.
we have to have that funding.
Now, question, once you get your library card, can you access other libraries
Absolutely.
in Illinois?
Yes. So Illinois has the rule that an Illinois public library card is good at any Illinois public library. So you can go to Bloomington, you can go to Champaign, you can go to Decatur and use the library there with your library card. What's really great about our system is we are part of a larger library system called SHARE, with about 450 other public libraries from pretty much us. We're pretty much the northern boundary down to Metropolis.
Okay.
And we share the same database, the same computer database. So your card that we scan at our library, you can scan at Maroa or Decatur or Belleville or Edwardsville, and it will scan, and you can check stuff out, and you can return those things at our library, and we'll ship them back.
Oh, wow. That's nifty.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that is
it's
cool.
a wonderful system. That's how we have interlibrary loan. That works so well. We can usually get items for patrons in about a week from a different library. It's a great system. We can still use cards from libraries north of us. So we've had patrons from like Hayworth come and use our library. It's a little bit more complicated because they're not in our database, but it is still doable.
I see. So to me, that says just get a library card in your home district, and if you want to come to the Warren Library, just
absolutely
come to the Warren
So
Library.
yeah, if you live in Maroa has a public library district. You get a card there. You can use our library, and we do have regular patrons from like Maroa and Mount Pulaski who work in Clinton, so they just use our library instead of their home library,
I see.
and that's completely fine.
Very good. Well, Bobbi, where do folks go to learn about the Warren Library?
So you can come and visit us at 310 North Quincy Street in Clinton. You can give us a call at 217-935-51 5174. You can email us at library@vwarner.org. Visit our website, vwarner.org, and we're on all the social medias at vwarner.
Bobbi Perryman, Warner Library, our guest in studio this morning. More to come with her on the morning show.
WHOW. Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, it is the WHW Morning Show. I'm Seth Lawrence with the folks today. Bobbi Perryman is the director of the Warner Library in studio with us this morning. And Bobbi, as we chat here for today, what's kind of on the calendar at the library?
Well,
what do you got going on?
Since we were speaking of, actually, I just pulled up our website. Since we were speaking of governance, we are having a Meet the Candidates event on March 5th from 6 to 8. And we have 6 people running for mayor, which I don't remember ever having that many people run for mayor in the whole time. And I've lived in Clinton most of my life. So we were looking at it and knowing not a whole lot of people know a lot about the people running for mayor. I couldn't even name all 6 off the top of my head. So we're having this event again, March 5th from 6 to 8, where patrons can come and actually talk to the candidates. I do want to point out this is not a debate. We are not hosting a debate. Each candidate is going to have about 5 minutes to just say their piece, who they are and what they want to do for the city of Clinton. And then after they've each said their piece, they're going to go to a table and the public can just go up and talk to them one-on-one and ask questions and try to get to know them.
All right, nice. So kind of more of a formal and like informal, I guess.
Yeah, very informal meet
sorry.
and greet. And I also need to point out, of course, the Vespasian Warner Public Library does not endorse any candidate part of your platform. We're just setting this up for the benefit of our patrons so they can kind of become informed voters.
All right, very good. So that is March the 5th, you said?
Yes, March the 5th.
Right.
And we have, of course, invited all of the candidates. I know for sure that 2 are coming. I'm going to assume that the rest probably are. We haven't checked. I haven't checked yet.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see how that goes. And I'm hoping it will be very useful for our patrons.
Sure. So put that on the calendar. And the election, of course, comes up on April the 1st. No fooling this year.
No fooling.
All right. Very good. What else you got going on, Bobbi?
Well, we are very excited that we just launched ABC Mouse. I don't know how familiar a lot of people are with this. It is a software for early literacy. So it's for children pre-K to about age 8. So first, second grade, somewhere in there. And it is a wonderful website that has a variety of games and activities that promote and encourage literacy. It has no ads. It has no pop-ups. It has nothing that a kid could click on that they can get something they ought not to. It's a very safe website, and it does normally it's a subscription cost, but they offer it free for public libraries. So if you're in our library or on our Wi-Fi using one of our computers or using a device on our Wi-Fi, your kids can access it. And it's a really great program. My son had it in kindergarten.
I was going to say, I think if you send kids to school in Clinton, you get access to
Right.
that.
So,
okay.
but you can also get to, especially if you're a homeschooler, you can have free access at the library for it.
Nice.
So we're very excited about that. And speaking of curriculum support, we were also very excited to get a grant from Illinois Prairie Community Foundation, Youth Engagement Philanthropy, for our take-home science kits. We have all the kits now, which I can't remember if I talked about them last time I was here or not.
You did, yes.
I did. But we actually have all of the kits now, and they're all cataloged. We're processing them, so they will be ready to go soon. So they are really, really cool. I'm very excited about the planetarium kit myself, but we have them again for age pre-K to about 4th grade.
All right.
That will be ready to check out soon. That will be great for any kind of curriculum support, and again, great for homeschooling families as well.
All right, very good. So put that on the radar. Those should be a great resource. And I know that's like when you were in last, we kind of tied that into the things of the library type of thing. So,
this definitely expands the library of things. So we are excited about that as well.
I lost track of time, Bobbi.
Oh.
I got about 20 seconds with you. I'm sorry. Anything else you want to put out there for us? I am so sorry.
Oh, nope. Just we always have things going on, so please check us out. Our website, vwarner.org, is where you can sign up for programs, order books, access your online catalog, and you can always visit us in person. Give us a call at 935-5174, or check us out on social media. We're at Vespasian Warner.
That is Bobbi Perryman, the director of the Warner Library in Clinton, our guest in studio. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next on the morning show.